Hi everyone, this is Kevin Icop, and today I'm here to talk about sacred spaces and sacred kind of areas that one should have in their home so that they can have a sacred space to go to gain some inner peace, inner tranquility, inner quietness, and so that you can recognize and feel the quietness, the sacredness come into you when you go to those areas. And one thing I'd like to talk to first is about just creating a sacred musical area in your house that plays 24/7 in the background. You find that sacred little musical piece. It can be chanting of mantra. It could be monks doing a sacred chant. It could be Christian, it could be Hindu, it could be Jewish, it could be anything. As long as it's sacred and it plays in the background at a very low sound, but is constantly there, it creates a very sacred place. It's like a musical curtain, and it's constantly there, and it's on all the time in the background. And when all of a sudden nobody's there and it's quiet in the house, it's just you can hear that music, that kind of thing. That's one way to create a sacredness in your house with just music. You will see various rooms in my house as we go through this video, and you'll see the puja stand, the puja center behind me. We'll go through that. We'll go through some other rooms in my home to show you sacred spaces of things I've gathered, things people have given me. But it's all about doing the sacred work. You can create sacred spaces and have them remind you of the mantras and of God. But if you're not doing the mantra, if you're not doing the work, if you're not doing the meditation or the actual hatha yoga practice leading into the meditation, you're not going to really gain that sacredness inside. You can look at the sacred place all you want, but you have to do that internal work to make it happen. So come with me as we look at all the different sacred spots in my home, and I have them in many rooms of my house. Even rooms that I don't have big items, I have very small items. I don't show them in the video, but every room has a little bit of something in it, something small, something special. I show you some of the bigger things. And so come with me as we go through and I show you my sacred spaces and what I did and what I created. But you create your own. You create what makes you feel centered inside. Because whatever that God is to you, or that goddess is to you, that's what it has the most meaning for you. That will create the most development for you, spiritually and in a sacredness. And so that's what you need to work on and develop. And with that being said, I wish you well, and I hope you develop and find your sacred place in your house and develop many rooms throughout your house that have it and help remind you that you need to move into this sacredness every day and recognize it every day, because you need to try to help move into that soul consciousness, the consciousness in which the soul is the sacred thing living in your vehicle. Here we have the sacred Buddha place in my one back room, which shows you several Buddhas here. And the thing is I have different things in different rooms. This is the one with the Buddha, and as you can see, there's some very special items here to hold candles, incense, various things, and here's a bowl with some crystals and gemstones in it that just, you put your hand in there and you can move it around and it just makes you feel good. It's similar to the Buddha sand, in which you can have the little rake and do like a Zen Buddha kind of thing. This is my Buddha area. And when I come into this area, it reminds me of the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. And so Om Mani Padme Hum comes to mind as soon as I see this. And it makes me feel special, sacred, and connected to this whole Buddha space. And so I wanted everyone to see it. And you can develop your own little Buddha space or Jesus space or Shiva space, Hanuman space, any of the goddesses like Lakshmi, Gayatri, or any of them. Any space you like to create and make special to you is fine. And this one is the one, I have a little gnome there, a garden gnome, and he's like a wood gnome. And he just watches and keeps out and makes it safe. And there's nothing wrong in how you do a puja setup. It's to make you feel special and good and bring special energy to you. And so this is my Buddha one. And so I hope everybody likes that. Om Mani Padme Hum. Here we have another sacred area in my home, in which some would call this a puja center or stand. It's actually in my living room, or my dining room, I'm sorry. And I have two large statues, one of Hanuman, one of Shiva. I have some saints here. I have a lucky cat or happy cat here. I have some nice crystals. That's actually Saint Roche behind there. That's the saint of dogs. A dog helped save his life and healed him. And so he's known as the Saint of Dogs. And this is Shani. Om Sham Shani Shiraya Namaha. Om Sham Shani Shiraya Namaha. Hanuman. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Here is Jesus. And in Jesus' hands, there is a locket that I used to wear with Bruno Gruning's picture in it. And I had a major healing from Bruno Gruning and that practice, and I'll show that maybe sometime. It'll be in one of my videos, and look for that about Bruno Gruning. But Bruno Gruning was a true lover of Jesus, loved God, loved Jesus, and if you follow him, you can get a lot of healing, and you can get a great meditation practice from him too. I still kind of do his. And here is Ganesh. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And here we have Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 And so, some Shiva Lingam stones. The Shiva's wearing some Rudraksha beads. There's some nice sacred jades here. That red kind of thing below in front of Shiva is an actual Hanuman. A lot of these things have been given to me throughout the years from different people. Some of them I purchased. But anyway, this is a sacred area of my house. It has a nice picture here of Parvati and Shiva. And so it's a sacred space, and it makes me feel good when I look at it every morning. When I come up and I come down into my dining room, here it is. And as I pull back, you'll see there's Tibetan flags above, and it looks out at my garden, my front yard. And the thing is throughout the years, my wife decorates it for different holidays. She follows the Catholic religion, and she basically decorates it for each of the holidays, and that's okay, because we should be able to share our spaces with others. It's not just one sacred space and that's it, and you can't touch it with anything else. It should move and flow. And I'm very much about movement and flow. And so this is a very, very special sacred place, and it makes me feel good every day, and that's why it's there. When you first walk into my house, you will notice this sacred little space. It has all these sacred little figurines of angels, mothers with children, a man that looks like possibly Santa Claus leading a horse, but of all things, it's Saint Nick, so a saint. And just saints and wonderful mothers here, and in the background is the stable with Jesus, Mother Mary, and Joseph. And so this is what you see when you first walk into my house. And so it's a sacred space. It makes you feel good. It brings joy, wonderful feeling, and happiness in the heart when my wife and I both see this. And this area has changed from time to time, but you should have lots of sacred spaces in the house. And this just being another one of them. And something when you first walk in to make yourself feel good. And here's another room in my house here with a Ganesh. And Ganeshes are usually in the entrance of houses, but I left my wife have the little statues of angels and mothers and the little piece with Jesus and Mary and Joseph in it as our front entry. For a long time, it used to have this particular Ganesh in there, but now I've moved the Ganesh to another room, and this Ganesh makes a very sacred space for this particular room. And there's a light, a candle there, and as you can see, people often just throw money there. A lot of this money is not even from me. It's just people come into my house and they find this and they just throw money down in front of the Ganesh for their own blessing. And so it's a very, very sacred spot for them. And so it makes you feel good when you come in here and you see it. And you can light the candle, you could say a blessing, and it just makes you feel good. And so you should always be reminded about God every second of every day. And it's very hard to do. And so Mortys and statues and things like this help remind us to always be focused and be thinking and centered on regaining our union with the Supreme Being. Here we have another sacred space in one of my rooms. This is actually in my bedroom. And there's a lot of sacred little things here. You see some of the goddesses here. There's a picture of Guru Dev, Swami Brihananda Saraswati. There's some Ganges water, and there's a Ganesh here, a very, very special Ganesh, along with a Shri Rantra. As you can see, there's a piece of incense there, and I do blessings here lots of times. In the morning, I wake up, I do blessings. You can see in the background, there's this one little piece here that is really designed for bringing harmony in marriage, and all the energy from that Shiva Lingam gets directed towards you, and the energy is coming from Guru Dev in the universe, our spiritual father, and the Supreme Being. Very, very powerful space here. I say daily prayers here all the time. There's lots of things here to help create sacred space in my house. There's a conch shell here. Some Rudraksha beads that I used to wear where the necklace actually broke from doing so many prayers. And so very, very sacred. And so this has helped maintain a strong marital energy for me and my wife. And I say blessings here all the time. And as you all know, I consider my wife as the Divine Mother and ask her many things. And so lots of that energy has come throughout the years, and this is all a very, very sacred space. And so you need to make sacred spaces for yourself. And just for one final little look to see what was above that Guru Dev thing, somebody gave us this. This is another sacred space in my house. Has a picture of Bruno Groening, Shiva Lingam stone here, Saraswati, and above that is Kuan Yin. There's a yantra plate there, a small Buddha, and this is just one of my more sacred rooms of my house. There's a Shiva Bala Yogi, Ganesh, Shiva Lingams, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, Guru Dev, Swami Brihananda Saraswati. There's Kripalananda, Lakdalish in front of him there, which is a form of Shiva, and just all kinds of sacred little things here. There's a Ganesh. And here we just move and see some of my other little items, small things on the windowsills. There's Shiva Bala Yogi picture. Picture of Ram, Sita and Ram. Picture of the mothers, Shiva Bala Yogi. There's some more. So anyway, creating sacred space is very, very important. Jai Bhagwan, namaste.